मंदार के गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युतर अच्युत शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युतर अच्युत शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युतर अच्युत शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युतर अच्युत शिष्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद अच्युतर अच्युत शिष्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोक्षर बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौड़ीय गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल पौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी कंग देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय नित्य विष्णु विश्व भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विश्व भक्ति भागवत तीर्थ गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विश्व शिल भक्ति दायित माधव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विश्व शिल जय। शिल भक्ति श्रीरूप सिद्धांति गोसाई महाराज की जय। तदीय शुभ आविर्भाव तिथि की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नित्य विष्णु शिल भक्ति विवेक भारती गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु शिल भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोसाई महाराज की जय। जय नित्य विष्णु शिल भक्ति पुरी गोसाई महाराज की जय। All the associates of Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Prema Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai. Anant Puri Vaishnava Samagata Gaur Bhakta Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Hare Krishna. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gauratvishe namaha. Anga shamalima chata viravito mandi kritendi varam sai. Jadyam jagurarocisham vidadatam pattam varasya shriya vrindaranya vilasinam hridilasa dama viramodaram radha skandha niveshito jvalabhujam dhyaye madamodaram. Tavaivasmi na jivami tvaya vina itti vigyaya devi tvam nayamam karanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada laksha ikshiptashtakama madhye kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Nitai Mukeshji, Madhubala Didi, and Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to read, today is the appearance day of Nityalila Pravishya Śrīmad Śrīla Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. So today we will read, Haribol Ganga Mataju. Today we will read from My Beloved Masters by Nityalila Pravishya Śrīmad Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Dandavat pranams Niri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, and also pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jaya Devi Prabhu, who else? Sorry, my Krishna Rose, Ananda Pradayini, and everybody else. Hare Krishna. And I'm guessing Indira Mataji and Raseshwari Mataji are there. So, all right, let's read from My Beloved Masters. I'm just opening it up. Where is it? Okay. And if anybody wants to get this book, you can find it on vcvani.com. Just go to, go to resources, and then it has books there. And it has free Kindle book and a PDF, and yeah, like that. Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, the messengers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Vani. Once, Guru Maharaj, then known as Sri Hayagriva Brahmachari, Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, then Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari, and Śrīmad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Gosvāmī Mahārāja were invited to preach at a 3-day spiritual function in Sylhet, East Bengal, now Bangladesh. On the first day, in his address, Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari made use of very straightforward but harsh and immoderate words while establishing the superiority of the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu over the popular Mayavad philosophies prevalent at that time. He referred to Vivekananda, whose name means one who takes bliss in having intelligence, as Vivekananda, or one who takes bliss in being ignorant. And to Ramakrishna Paramahansa as Ramahansa, or a large but worthless swan. Upon hearing these epithets, many residents of Sylhet became irritated. That night, leaflets were published and distributed all over town, denouncing the Gaudiya Math and demanding the cancellation of the function. The event faced such great opposition that the next day, Sri Hayagriva Brahmachari met with the governor. What is that? I don't even know. Wait, sorry. Convener. That means a person whose job it is to call people together for meetings of a committee. Oh, convener. Sorry. That's embarrassing. Okay. Anyways, so Sri Hayagriva Brahmachari met with the convener, the district judge, and who all they expressed. Sorry, let me reread this. God, what's wrong with me today? The event faced such great opposition that the next day, Sri Hayagriva Brahmachari, that's Śrīla Bhakti Madhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, met with the convener, the district judge, who expressed his concerns about safety and advised us to cancel the remaining 2 days of the function, just to rule out the possibility of any undesirable incident. Sri Hayagriva Brahmachari assured the judge that the speaker who had used incendiary words the previous night would most definitely not be speaking again, and that only he and Srila Sridhar Gosvāmī Mahārāja would address the audience. The judge replied, "It is on your assurance alone that I will allow the function to continue. I will make all the necessary arrangements for providing increased security, but please be mindful of the content of your katha." The next evening, the venue was filled with antagonistic objectors. Sri Hayagriva Brahmachari was the first to address the crowd, and he began by praising the hospitality of the Sylhet people. After he finished his speech and established his objective, he conceded the podium to Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. During his presentation, Śrīla Maharaj said, "Our Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Siddhānta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, has taught us that in our preaching, we are delivering the message of Swayam Bhagavan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Our only purpose in coming here is to deliver, through fearless yet fair speech, the Vani, the teachings that incessantly flow from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, as it has been presented by Śrīmad Mahaprabhu and our line of Guru Varga, such as Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and others, who make up our Bhagavat Parampara. We are not here to preach with the apprehension and shyness of a lady hiding her face behind a veil. What to speak of the philosophical doctrines of personalities like Sri Shankaracharya, Jaimini, Patanjali, Kanada, and so on, the ideology manifested by Swayam Bhagavan Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is unparalleled and vastly superior to the ideologies established by even the previous four Vaishnavacharyas, Sri Ramanuja, Sri Madhvacharya, Sri Nimbaditya, and Sri Vishnu Swami. Through his teachings, he has highlighted the shortcomings of such doctrines and has conclusively defeated all erroneously fabricated philosophies. Therefore, in our presentation of Srimad Mahaprabhu's ideology, how is it possible that the ideologies of persons like Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, and Bhandarkar will not be contested? Moreover, we are simply messengers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our duty is merely to deliver his teachings. If anyone in this assembly has any objections, he may kindly address them to Srimad Mahaprabhu, Srila Ved Vyas, or Srila Rupa Goswami. Although we have unflinching faith in their Vichardhara, their line of ideology, we will undoubtedly surrender to any person who can present an ideology superior to that presented by Srimad Mahaprabhu. But if such a person is not present in this world, what intelligent being would be unwilling to follow or who would feel uninspired by such a highly auspicious spiritual path as the one described by Srimad Mahaprabhu and his followers? Srimad Bhagavatam has clearly described Shri Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan. Ette changsa kala pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.28. That means all these avatars are either plenary portions or portions of plenary portions of the Supreme Person. But Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Krishna himself has stated in the Bhagavad Gita that he is the ultimate object of surrender in such verses as Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvang Sarva Papebhyo Mokshaishami Ma Suchaha. That's Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita 1866. Means completely abandoning all dharma. Take shelter of me alone. I will free you from the reactions of your sins. Do not lament. And also, that was verse 66, the verse before it also. Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mam evaishyasi satyante prati jane priyosime. So Krishna says, offer your minds to me, become my devotee, worship me and offer pranam to me. By this you shall attain me. I swear this truth to you, because you are dear to me. And then ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupashate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Bhagavad Gita 9.22. For those who are devoid of other desires, who are always absorbed in contemplation of me, and who always worship me, I personally carry their necessities and preserve what they presently have. Therefore, what benefit is there in accepting the ideology of Ramakrishna Paramahansa, who advocates the worship of devatas, of demigods. Such worship is averse to Śrīmad Bhagavatam, which has firmly established in Canto 4, Chapter 31, verse 14. Yatha toror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashakha prano paharach chayatendriyanam tataiva sarvarhanam achutateja. Just as pouring water on the root of a tree nourishes its trunk, branches, leaves, and sprigs, and as giving food to the stomach nourishes all the senses and bodily limbs, all the demigods are automatically worshipped when one worships Sri Achyuta Bhagavan. The philosophy of Vivekananda is Jive Prem Kore Jai Jan, She Jan She Viche Ishwar. That means one who has love for living entities actually serves the Supreme Lord. However, we see that his followers kill and eat animals. And we must therefore conclude that in this slogan, the word jiva, as used by Vivekananda, refers only to human beings. But the true meaning of the word jiva refers to all living entities. You should all deeply consider these points. There is no need for us to say anything further. You are all free to make complaints against any imperfections in our methods of delivery. But you must know for certain that the philosophy we have presented remains immaculately pure at all times, without the slightest trace of contamination. After Śrīla Śrīrūpa Gosvāmī Mahārāja concluded his speech, the audience responded with thunderous applause. Indeed, they were truly pleased, and they requested that the organizers extend the function for an additional 15 days. In this way, the preaching of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's Vani in the city of Sylhet was a great success. As Sylhet was a city renowned for its good quality lime, the residents, in their appreciation, arranged for a wagon load to be used in the service of whitewashing the walls of Sri Chaitanya Mat, the temples at Yogapit, and other buildings in Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's Sridham Mayapur. Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja was accustomed to speaking in a forthright manner that some may have found unpalatable, but he never presented anything other than the Shrotabani, the teachings descending through the Bhagavat Parampara. This was appreciated by the authoritative personality Śrīla Śrīrūpa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, his senior godbrother, who defended the content of his junior godbrother's speech that day in Sylhet. Proclaiming the truth. Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja was considerably bold and straightforward in his lectures. He would never hold back when refuting others' mistaken philosophies, nor would he attempt to avoid confrontation by speaking indirectly. Because of his impartial nature, he spoke in the same manner publicly as he did privately. Once, while preaching with Śrīmad Bhakti Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīla Maharaj, and even though he and Śrīmad Bhakti Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja were godbrothers, but Śrīla Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja only accepted Śrīla Bhakti Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja as his Shiksha Guru. He didn't see him as his godbrother. He only saw him as a Shiksha Guru. So while preaching with Śrīmad Bhakti Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīla Maharaj very forthrightly, at that time he was Sri Siddhasura Brahmachari, he wasn't a sannyasi yet, he very forthrightly and unambiguously established the supremacy of pure bhakti over any and all pseudo-devotional religions included within the proverb, Jata Mata Tata Pata, which means there are as many paths to attain God as there are ways to see him. And that this popular slogan amounts merely to Mishrita Bhakti, or mixed devotion. Needless to say, a number of people were greatly perturbed at by this assertion, and they began to oppose the Gaudiya Math. When Shri Kunjabihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu, the secretary of the Gaudiya Math, related this event to Srila Prabhupada said, "While the scriptures affirm that Siddhaswarup Prabhu has spoken the truth, The harsh language he used should never come from our mouths. Be that as it may, his words have spread our message to such a large group of people that it would have cost us 1 lakh rupees otherwise. For this service, I will award him a Shri Gaur Ashirvad certificate and grant him the special title Vidya Bhagish, which means the best orator of true knowledge. Write that down, Vidya Bhagish, and reserve it for him. And every year after the day, it was either on the day of Gaur Purnima, I think it's the day after Gaur Purnima. Anyways, they would have the Navadip Pracharini Sabha. They would hold the Gaur Ashirvad ceremony. They'd give people who performed great services that year, they would give them titles. Like our Param Guru Dev got the title Kriti Ratna. So yeah, they reserved that. Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada reserved Vidya Bhagish for Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari. His appreciation of my determination. Once due to the carelessness of railway baggage handlers, the hand of one of the uninstalled deities of Shri Radhakrishna I had sent by train to be installed in a mat in Krishnanagar was damaged. Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja was present when I received this news, and he asked me, "What will you do now?" I will first seek compensation from Indian Railways, I replied. After that, I will decide how to further proceed. He advised, "You should give up any hope of receiving compensation. It is very difficult." Then, as he spread his arms wide open, he said, "Trying to get money from Indian Railways is like trying to fish it out of a hole as deep as 7 times the distance between my palms right now. It would be better to solicit a devotee for funds and have another deity made quickly." Ultimately, I decided I must at least make some effort to collect our rightful compensation. After investing a great deal of energy into the matter, I eventually managed to pressurize Indian Railways to reimburse us for the cost of the uninstalled deities. And after some time, we received the payment. When I notified Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja of this success, he said, "You have made it back from the house of Yamaraj, death itself. Only a determined devotee like you is able to protect the wealth meant for the service of Bhagavan," gifting me a Nrsimha Kavacha. One day, during the time I was dealing with a lawsuit to remove the tenants illegally occupying the appearance place of Srila Prabhupada in Puri, Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja approached me with concern for my well-being. With the affection of a guardian, he said, "I will have a Nrsimha Kavacha made for your protection. You must wear it at all times. You have no idea what harm these people might do to you." Sure enough, some days later, he brought me a Nrsimha Kavacha prepared by his godbrother, Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari. When he gave it to me, he showed me his arm, which bore a Nrsimha Kavacha, and he said, "Look, I too wear one." Although I accepted the Nrsimha Kavacha he gave me, I faced an internal dilemma about whether I should wear it. I thought it over and concluded that if I were truly surrendered, and if all my efforts were intended purely for the service of Bhagavan, then indeed no one would be able to cause me the least bit of harm, or even so much as bruise me, as long as he wishes to accept my service. Furthermore, since Bhagavan is the one accepting my service, the responsibility of my protection lies with him alone. Why should I independently endeavor to protect myself? For these reasons, I was unenthusiastic about wearing the Nrsimha Kavacha. However, since it was affectionately given to me by Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, I always kept it with me. To this day, it is stored safely in my closet. When we eventually won the lawsuit, Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja told me, "You have snatched this meal right out of the tiger's mouth." Maharaj, I replied, what capacity do I possess to snatch a meal from the jaws of a tiger? It is by the power of Srila Prabhupada's disciples such as yourself, by your good wishes and mercy, that we have become instruments in fulfilling our Guru Pad Padma's desire. Srila Maharaj then said, maintaining this kind of submissiveness is the key to gain rightful and eternal entry into Vaishnava Dharma. Under the guidance of Guru Maharaj, a huge festival was organized at Srila Prabhupada's appearance place in 1978 to commemorate his Vyas Puja. At that time, Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja was the first to donate toward the construction of a mat there. As he handed me 1,000 rupees, he expressed his happiness and bestowed many instructive blessings upon me. His appreciation of Shiva as the greatest of Vaishnavas. I had the good fortune of accompanying Guru Maharaj a number of times to festivals at Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's various mats. Instead of inviting a great number of devotees all at once for a function, Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja preferred instead to invite a few devotees at a time. The prasad he served during those small events always consisted of the best ingredients. Once, while showing Guru Maharaj the deity of Shivji he had installed in his mat in Sri Jagannath Puri, Srila Maharaj explains, although my name was previously Shiva Shankar De, I always disapproved of the worship of Shiva, deeming him to be a demigod in the mode of ignorance. But now, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I have realized that it is impossible for one to attain the grace of Vishnu without first obtaining the mercy of Vaishnavas. That is why I have built this temple for Shiva, the topmost among all Vaishnavas. Perform or perish. The lands Guru Maharaj had acquired in Kolkata for establishing Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math included an old one-story building that needed to be raised in order to construct a new building. During the building's demolition, Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja visited the site. After observing us in our work, he asked me, have you people gone crazy? This place has been beautifully built with the most exquisite materials, like Italian mosaic flooring, Belgian glass windows, and even the door and window frames are made from top-quality Burmese teak wood. Yet you are knocking it all down? Are you out of your mind? Why don't you simply construct levels on top of the already existing building? When Madhav Maharaj arrives, tell him that Siddhāntī Maharaj visited the site and has advised against demolishing the building. I personally conveyed Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's message to Guru Maharaj, who asked me, if your goal is to throw a stone at this nearby door, how will he do it? In response, I mimicked softly tossing a stone with very little force. Guru Maharaj then asked, now, if you intend to throw the stone somewhere far, how will you do it? I then mimicked throwing a stone with much greater force. Then Guru Maharaj concluded, similarly, the higher we aim, the better our efforts to achieve our goal will be. Upon reaching a country he wanted to attack and conquer, Napoleon would either burn his ship or intentionally sink it, boldly signifying to his soldiers that their only option was to perform or perish. When he ordered his army to cross over the Alps mountain range, most of the soldiers were dumbfounded and said, "It is impossible." Napoleon replied, "The word impossible exists only in a fool's dictionary." When a person is left with no other option but to act, he makes his best efforts to accomplish his goal. But if given the slightest leeway, he thinks endlessly without acting. It has been rightly said, necessity is the mother of invention. Therefore, demolish that building so that we may be compelled to act and construct for ourselves a place to stay. Moreover, we need a much bigger hall for Harikatha and Kirtan, even if it is only a tin shed without opulent decorations. While Guru Maharaja's words filled my heart with great energy and enthusiasm, I also understood Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's concern for the protection and preservation of something beautiful that could be used in Krishna Seva. Although these two godbrothers held different views, I was able to grasp the depth of their relationship, and I knew in my heart that Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja did not feel the least bit offended that Guru Maharaj did not adhere to his advice. Haribol Vidya Lala Satiri and Champak Mataji Haribol. After the construction of the Kolkata branch of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math was completed, Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja attended the inauguration festivities. When he inspected the Kirtan hall and the quality of its construction, he appreciatively noted, "You have done a great job. This is fantastic. I only mentioned you should not demolish the previous building because I thought you did not have enough funds to create something as beautiful as this." Publishing Gaudiya Vaishnava scriptures. Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja published an unprecedented edition of Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita with the Rasik Ranjan commentary of Śrīla Bhakti Vinod Thakur, the Gita Bhushan commentary of Śrīla Baladev Vijibhushan, and his own Anubhushan commentary. He also published a few Upanishads, like the Isha, Kata, Mandukya, and Gopal Tapani Upanishads, with his Tattva Kana commentaries, as well as 3 books, Shri Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, and Bhagavatamrita Kana. By those 3 books by Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Well, sorry, I'm really tired right now. I don't know why I said that. I meant to say Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, based on Ujjvala Nilamani, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Laghu Bhagavatamrita. He also rendered tremendous service to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by publishing Vedanta Sutra in Bengali with Śrīla Baladev Vijibhushan's Govinda Bhashya commentary and a brief commentary thereon, along with an assisting explanation of his own, called the Siddhanta Kana, which he fortified with references from Śrīmad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja endeavored tirelessly to publish this particular book, and his godbrother, Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Gosvāmī Mahārāja, offered extensive assistance in proofreading. Whenever a new book was released, Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja would hold a festival and say, "Just as Śrīmad Bhagavatam is verily the divine form of Bhagavan, the literatures that have been written in the light of Śrīmad Bhagavatam and further endorse the doctrines presented therein are none different from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and are therefore just as worshipful as Bhagavan himself. It is only fitting to commemorate the divine appearance of such literatures in the world by organizing a festival." We should probably start doing that ourselves. GBP, we can have all the big festival every time a book is offered. Spreading the teachings of Bhagavan's pastimes through dioramas. Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur engaged his disciples in performing kirtan of Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani, the immaculate message of Sri Chaitanya, by publishing and distributing countless spiritual books, newsletters, and magazines, as well as by sending Nishkinchan preachers to various locations. Although most people could grasp the concepts these I think it's supposed to say could not. Although most people could not grasp the concepts these publications and Vaishnava preachers presented, there were still many. Oh, sorry. I'll just stick to what it says. Although most people could grasp the concepts of these publications and Vaishnava preachers presented, there were still many who could not. Concerned for the welfare of such persons, Srila Prabhupada, whose heart was always full of compassion, granted them the wonderful opportunity to understand the pristine message of Sri Chaitanya Dev by organizing Sat Shiksha Pradarshanis. That's exhibitions that involved beautiful dioramas and displays along with appointed representatives to explain the various spiritual teachings they depicted. These exhibitions were organized and led by such stalwart Vaishnavas as Śrīmad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswāmī Mahārāja, Śrīmad Bhakti Hriday Pan Goswāmī Mahārāja, and Guru Maharaj. In addition to the exhibitions, silent magic lantern films produced by Śrīmad Bhakti Prasunna Bodhayan Goswāmī Mahārāja were also presented. I showed you all the other day the projector 2 days ago. We have one of these magic lantern contraptions or whatever, just right up there that our Param Gurudev used to use. He used to do that also when he'd travel in different villages. Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja gave this conceptual legacy of Srila Prabhupada a permanent form of expression when he unveiled in his mats many sculpted dioramas of instructive pastimes from Krishna Lila, Ram Lila, and Gaur Lila. These dioramas were highly beneficial as they simultaneously communicated profound concepts to the general public and brought numerous pastimes of the Lord to the minds of well-informed devotees. You see his mat in Puri, every inch of that mat is filled with these beautiful, like bas-relief sculptures all over the walls. Yeah, it's such a, yeah, every inch of the wall is filled with verses and pastimes, and yeah, it's really amazing to see. His Samadhi pastime. A few of Srila Prabhupada's sannyas disciples, namely Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīmad Bhakti Vivek Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīmad Bhakti Surit Paramarthi Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and Śrīmad Bhakti Prapanadandi Gosvāmī Mahārāja, were not interred with the Samadhi, they were not interred with Samadhi burials. Instead, for whatever reasons, they instructed their disciples to cremate their divine bodies. Sometime after, Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's body was cremated. His disciples established his Pushpa Samadhi at his mat in Sri Jagannath Puri. After deeply deliberating on the subject, one will come to the conclusion that there is no difference between a Vaishnava's Mūl Samadhi and Pushpa Samadhi, because the body of a Vaishnava and the articles related to him are non-different, purely transcendental, and equally worshipful. On behalf of King Prataparudra, Sri Nityananda Prabhu repeatedly requested Srimad Mahaprabhu to award his darshan to the king, but the Lord firmly refused. However, Sri Nityananda Prabhu convinced him to at least bestow a set of his used clothes upon the king as an alternative. Upon receiving those garments, King Prataparudra treated them as non-different from Srimad Mahaprabhu and accorded them the greatest honor and respect. Just as Srimad Mahaprabhu's clothes are non-different from himself, the divine bodies of his realized devotees and the items they used were similarly non-different from the devotees themselves. Such objects remain equally worshipful and worthy of respect even after they entered Nitya Lila. The actions of our Guru Varga, sorry, got distracted by his little mouse running around the floor. Okay, the actions of our Guru Varga are not to be questioned. Once, after the disappearance of Srila Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, I attended a festival at his establishment in Puri, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math and Asam. There, Sri Mukunda Pandit, a disciple of Śrīmad Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Goswāmī Mahārāja, was closely inspecting the deity of Sri Vrindadevi that had been installed there. Pointing to her nose ring and other ornaments with which she was adorned. He asked, so pointing to those ornaments, he asked one of Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja's disciples, "Who had this deity of Vrinda Devi made?" "It was our Gurudev," the devotee replied. Then Sri Mukunda Pandit further inquired, "Has she been manifested in accordance with the specifications of scripture, or simply by some sort of fanciful imagination?" The disciple innocently responded, "Our Gurudev would have been able to better explain. I don't know." Although I generally never commented on anything unless requested, I considered that in this case, to remain silent would have put me at the risk of committing an offense, for Sri Mukunda Pandit had voiced doubt about a deity installed by my Guru Varga, Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Therefore, interrupting the conversation, I asked him, "Panditji, is it proper to harbor doubt even after learning it was a recognized, authentic Vaishnava who installed this deity? Could such an authoritative personality like Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ever do anything unauthorized?" The truth is, Śrīla Maharaj has manifested this deity according to the descriptions found in Sri Vrindadevashtakam, composed by Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Imbadaroditvaramandahasya nasagramukta dutidipitase Vichitra Ratna Bharanashiyadhe Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam. O Vrinda, your countenance is especially radiant, illuminated by the gentle smile rising on your bimba red lips and the pearl on your nose. Your beauty is enhanced by various jeweled ornaments. O Vrinda, we offer pranam to your lotus feet. I concluded, "It appears you have never read this ashtak attentively." Sri Mukunda Pandit fell silent, and I felt satisfied for having rendered some service to Śrīla Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And now here is something written about Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, composed under the editorship of Śrīmad Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja. An effulgent gem. Almost all of our godbrothers are one by one making their grand departure to join our Sri Gurupad Padma, who has long since entered the eternal pastimes of the Lord. Each and every one of these godbrothers embodied extraordinary and divine specialities. It is impossible to find anyone who can fill the void they have left. Thus, the Gaudiya Vaishnava community has gradually become thoroughly deprived of its precious jewels, and our worshipful Siddhāntī Mahārāja was one such effulgent gem. His great service to the Gaudiya Vaishnava community. The most worshipful Prabhupada had a special desire to publish and circulate Gaudiya Vedantacharya Śrīmad Baladev Vijibhushan Pad's Shri Govinda Bhashya commentary on Vedanta, as well as the Isha, Kena, Kata, Prashna, Mandukya, Aitareya, Taitariya, Chandogya, Brihad Aranyaka, Shvetashvatar, and Gopal Tapani Upanishads, complete with Anvaya, with the word-for-word translations that follow the sentence structure. Pujapad Siddhāntī Mahārāja dedicated himself to fulfilling this cherished desire of our most worshipful Sri Śrīla Prabhupada. And thus, by accomplishing this great service for the Gaudiya Vaishnava community, he became a recipient of Prabhupada's profuse mercy. Accepting Śrīla Prabhupada's shelter. Pujapad Maharaj appeared in an aristocratic devotee family in the Barishal district of East Bengal on 22nd October 1906, on the 5th day of the waxing moon during the holy month of Kartik. He first came to the lotus feet of the most worshipful Sri Srila Prabhupada in Kolkata in January 1924. In March of that same year, on the auspicious occasion of Sri Gaur Purnima, he received Mahamantra and Mantra Diksha initiation from Srila Prabhupada and was given the name Sri Siddha Swarup Das. A life of dedication. Being completely captivated with Krishna, he joined the Math at a very young age, when he was still in school. However, according to the desire of his parents and elderly family members, he was ordered to return to his home and finish his studies. After quickly completing his schooling, he returned to the Math sometime around February of 1928, and to the utmost degree, dedicated his life to the service of his Sri Guru Pad Parva. A distinguished speaker. Srila Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas under Srila Prabhupada's guidance were immensely pleased by Sri Siddha Swarup Das's sincere service efforts. As tokens of Guru Pad Padma's pleasure, he was awarded the Sri Gaur Ashirvad titles: Upadeshak, instructor; Mahopadeshak, great instructor; and Vidya Vagish, master of knowledge and speech. So he was awarded these titles by the Navadip Pracharini Sabha. As a brahmachari, he accompanied the expert senior Tridandi sannyasis like Tridandi Swami Śrīmad Bhakti Pradeep Tirtha Maharaj, Tridandi Swami Śrīmad Bhakti Vivek Bhāratī Maharaj, Tridandi Swami Śrīmad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, and Tridandi Swami Śrīmad Bhakti Hriday Pan Maharaj, to various places in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Madras, Andhra Pradesh, and West India. He also preached in many places with Nityalila Pravishta Parama Pujapad Tridandi Swami Śrīmad Bhakti Dait Madhav Maharaj, who, during the manifest time of Sri Srila Prabhupada, was known as Bhagmi Pravar, Shripad Hayagriva Brahmachari Prabhu. Gradually, by the grace of Sri Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, he emerged as a distinguished speaker. And those members of the aristocracy who were earnest and appreciative became deeply attracted to his fearless and potent expositions of the proper verdicts of Scripture. Although he was severely opposed by several narrow-minded atheists who interpreted his words as an attack on their interests, he never hesitated to expound the truth, which dispels the ghoul of illusion, in accordance with the ancient tradition of those who have heard it from an authoritative source. For this reason, he became the recipient of the most worshipful Prabhupada's profuse mercy. Presenting the essence of the scriptural teachings. In 1941, Pujapad Siddha Swarup Brahmachari Prabhu accepted sannyas from our godbrother, Sri Bhakti Vijñāna Asha Maharaj, and adopted the name Tridandi Swami Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Mahārāja. In each of his 3 maths, the Pujari devotees worship unprecedentedly beautiful deities of Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govindaju. Additionally, the walls are adorned with striking depictions of Shri Gaur Lila, Shri Krishna Lila, and Shri Ram Lila that capture the essence of the scriptural teachings. Simply by viewing these depictions, earnest viewers receive the fortune of accumulating much knowledge of the proper verdicts of the scriptures. These depictions remain on display even today, but since Pujapad Maharaj is no longer to be seen, viewing them simply causes our hearts to drown in anguish. Kripa kori Krishna more diya chilo sangha, sotantra Krishna isha hoilo sangha bhanga. That's Antya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita 1194. It says, mercifully, Krishna gave me his association. By Krishna's independent will, our exchange has ended. So this is excerpts from articles published in Sri Chaitanya Vani, year 25, volume 11. Okay, so that's our reading for today. There's a little short thing from our Srila Guruji. Maybe we can read that. Let's open this up. I think it is this one. No, I think it's this one. Give me 1 sec. Oh, oops, I used the wrong program. Hey, so let's read this. Here. I'll just read this little small thing. Okay, so this is a glorification written by our Śrīla Gurudev. Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja appeared on the Shukla Panchami in Kartik, Monday, 12th October 1906, in a religious and well-to-do family in the Jalokari village of the Varishal district, which is now Bangladesh. His parents named him Shiva Shankar. From his very childhood, it was observed that he had a natural inclination to glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Bhagavan. While studying at college, he heard the message of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu from the lips of Śrīmad Bhakti Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, one of the intimate associates of Jagadguru Ashvatarashata Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhāntī Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and was highly impressed. He left his home and parents, and on Gaur Purnima Day in 1924, he received Harinam and Vaishnavi Diksha from Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada in Sridham Mayapur. From that time on, he was known as Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari. After taking shelter at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, he studied various scriptures on bhakti, and under the guidance of the Vaishnavas, began to fearlessly preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Observing his qualities, Srila Prabhupada gave him the titles Upadeshak, Maha-Upadeshak, and Vidyabhagish. Once he went to preach in Kishorganj, in the Maiman Singh district of East Bengal, Bangladesh, with Pujapad Śrīmad Bhakti Gopesti Nemi Maharaj. As he fearlessly lectured about the absolute truth to the large assembly, he mentions that the preaching of Swami Vivekananda and Sri Rabindranath Tagore never truly represented Indian culture. So I guess this is something that he did quite often. We just heard another incident of him speaking about Vivekananda and also Ramakrishna. This one he's speaking about Vivekananda and Rabindranath Tagore. So his words riled the entire assembly, who proceeded to condemn the Gaudiya Math. Fearing that he had ruined their preaching, one of the brahmacharis immediately sent news of the disturbance to Srila Prabhupada, who was in Sridham Mayapur at that time. But Srila Prabhupada was overjoyed and commented, "Today, Siddha Swarup Brahmachari's preaching of my mission was more valuable than a collection of 1 lakh rupees." Srila Prabhupada immediately left Mayapur and traveled to Kishorganj along with his associates. The next few sessions of that assembly drew an even larger crowd as people gathered to hear what the Gaudiya Math had to say in its defense. In those assemblies, Srila Prabhupada presented scriptural evidence to confirm the accuracy of the statements of Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari. In this way, he established the conceptions of pure bhakti as propagated by the Gaudiya Math. His explanation satisfied the people there, and they became favorably disposed to the Gaudiya Math. Just making sure the internet connection is still working. Looks like it is. Okay, good. In 1941, on the day of Vijaya Dashami, Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari accepted sannyas and was given the name Sri Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Mahārāja. When Srila Prabhupada entered his unmanifest pastimes, Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Mahārāja and his Shiksha Guru, Śrīmad Bhakti Bhāratī Mahārāja, founded a separate institution named Sri Saraswat Gaudiya Asan and Mission. The first branch of this institution was established in Kolkata, the second in Sri Navadip, and the third in Sri Jagannath Puri. In 1947, Śrīmad Bhakti Bhāratī Mahārāja entered Aprakata Lila, and Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja became the president and acharya of this mission. Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Mahārāja was deeply attached to transcendental knowledge and was responsible for publishing the following books: Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita with the commentaries of Śrīla Bhakti Vibhushan, along with his own simple and easy to understand vritti or explanation of those commentaries. Then Śrīla Baladev Vijayabhushan's also wasn't the Rasik Ranjan commentary, I think. And then Śrīla Baladev Vijayabhushan's Govinda Bhashya and Shukshma Tika with translations. These are commentaries on Sri Krishna Dvaipayan Vyasa's Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, published along with his own commentary called Siddhanta Karna. He also published the 10 prominent Upanishads, namely Ishadkena, Kata, Svetashratar, Mundak, Mandukya, Prashana, Taittiriya, Aitareya, and Gopal Champu, Tapani. Sorry, starting to get tired. Gopal Tapani, along with commentaries that are in accordance with Gaudiya conceptions. And he also published Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhagavatamrita Kana, Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, and Sri Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran. Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Mahārāja had a very special relationship with my most worshipable Gurudev, Ashtatarashata Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswāmī Mahārāja. Upon joining the Math as a brahmachari, he saw the high level of erudition of the sannyasis and other brahmacharis living there. Thinking that he should also further his studies, he returned to his home and decided to continue with his law studies, and eventually practiced in the courtroom. When Sri Vinod Bihari Brahmachari, my Gurudev's name before taking sannyas, came to know that he went to Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari's home. Sorry, I'm starting to fade out. When my Gurudev came to know this, that he had returned to his home and decided to continue his law studies, then he went to Sri Siddha Swarup Brahmachari's home. He stayed there for a few days and convinced him to return to the Math. My Gurudev was always affectionate to him, regarding him as a younger brother, and he in turn had great respect and regard for my Gurudev. When my Gurudev entered Aprakat Lila, Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Mahārāja was residing in his Math in Sri Damnavati. He immediately came to Sri Devananda Gaudiya Math, and under his guidance only, we placed our Gurudev in Samadhi. He then mercifully assisted in making a legal constitution for the Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. For these acts of kindness, the members of the Samiti will forever remain indebted to him. During his final days, Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja was residing in his Kolkata Math. It was there that he entered Aprakat Lila on 17 December 1985. Śrīmad Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja demonstrated exemplary nishtha and fulfilling the manobhishta of his Gurudev. I pray at his lotus feet for his causeless mercy, so that I can fulfill the manobhishta of my own beloved Gurudev with a similar determination. Jai Nityala Pravishya Śrīmad Śrīla Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. Now we finished just at 8 o'clock, just in time. So, right. I'll do a short Mahamantra Jadvani, and then for those who would be helpful for them, I'm going to sing Damodar Ashtakam as well. Good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Swapasha Chigo Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Prabhu Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Tulsi Maharani Devi ki jai. Jai Nitya Pavishra Shishimad Śrīla Bhakti Śrīrūpa Siddhāntī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tutiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankh. Jai Shri Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva ki jai. Urja Vrat Jai. Urja Shri Rase Shri Shiva Shubhananandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Krishna Vashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Okay, so Dandavat Pranams, Madhubala Didi, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, Vidyalalasa Didi, Viseshwari Mataji, Indira Mataji, and everybody else watching on YouTube and Facebook. And also all the devotees here on Zoom, Ri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarini Mataji, Chatamaya Mataji, Champak Mataji, Nitai Mukeshji, and all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jaydev Prabhu, Indira Mataji, sorry, I meant to say Krishna Rose and Ananda Pradayani. All right, so now we are going to, well, yeah, so if anybody needs to go now, Dandavat Pranams, thank you so much for joining. Tomorrow we will, what's coming up tomorrow? Just looking at the calendar really quick. Tomorrow is nothing. Okay, so we will continue the next few days. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, today's also the disappearance day of Bhaktilok Paramahamsa Goswami Maharaj. I just seeing that now on the calendar. So, Jai Nityalila Prabhishra Shishimad Śrīla Bhakti Lok Paramahamsa Goswami Mahārāja ki Jai. There's a whole thing about him in My Beloved Masters as well. So if anybody likes, if you have time, you can read that today. It'd be good to read today. Okay, and then tomorrow there's nothing. So we'll continue reading from Damodar Ashtak. The next couple days, we'll read from Damodar Ashtak. Maybe we can finish the book. And then on the 29th, so in 3 days from now, is Gopashtami. And disappearance day of Srinivasacharya Gadadhar Das Thakur and Dhananjay Pandit. Right. So let's sing Damodar Ashtak. Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajaman Yashoda Viyolokar Ladhavamana Paramrishtamatyantato Drutya Gopya Rudantam muhurnetra yugmam rejantam karam bhoja yugmena satanka netram muhoshvasakampa trirekhanka kantha stita graivadamor daram bhakti bhatam iti drik swalilabhye Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadiye Shita Geshu Bhaktarjitatvam Puna Prematastam Shatavritti Vante Varam Deva Moksham Namoksha Vadimva Na Chanya Brineham Vareshadapiha Idante Vapurnata Gopala Balam Sada me manasya virastam kimanyai Idante mukham bhojam avyakta nilai Vrittam kuntalai snegdaraktaischa gopya Muhushum vittam bimba raktadharang me Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhu Dukha Jalakti Magna Kripa Drishti Vrishtyati Dena Batano Grihane Shamam Agyam Edakshidrisha Kuberatmajo Bada Murtaiva Yadva Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha Tatha Prema Bhakti Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Me Damodareha Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Dhamne Tvadiyodarayatha Vishwasadhamne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai Namo Nantalilai Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tu Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tu Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Radha Damodar Ju Ki Jai. All right, so that's our program for today. Thank you so much for joining. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream? All right, thank you so much for joining. Just quickly looking at the comments. Thank you, Madhubala Didi. Hari Bol.